Hi all, this is Macarena Farcuh, an assistant professor and extension specialist with the University of Maryland at College Park. Today I participated as an organizer as well as a speaker of the Apple workshop that was held in Keedysville in Western Maryland. We covered, in my case, two different topics. I was talking about physiological disorder development in Apple as well as the use of plant growth regulators in apples. For my first talk, in terms of physiological disorders, I covered which were the main factors that can trigger the incidence of these disorders, and I gave 9 specific examples of physiological disorders that are very common in apple fruits, including watercore, bitter pit, the several lenticel breakdowns, different scalds, etc., etc. For each one of these disorders, we covered the description of the symptoms, what are the main causes, as well as what are the practices that can be implemented in order to decrease or avoid their incidence. The main message from this talk really is that the development of physiological disorders depends on different factors, including the cultivar that is, the apple cultivar, the rootstock that is used, environmental conditions, the pre- and post-harvest management practices, as well as the maturity at harvest of the fruit. And the most important thing is to be able to identify these susceptibility factors in order to adequate your practices in order to decrease the incidence of these disorders. Then my second talk was focused on plant growth regulators in apples, and I was mainly targeting towards the use of these products for managing apple maturity as well as preventing post-harvest fruit drop, pre-harvest fruit drop. In this case, I mainly focused on plant growth regulators such as Harvista, Retain, NAA, naphthalene acetic acid, and ethefone, and we were describing which one of them would hasten or would delay maturity as well as pre-harvest fruit drop. We were talking about different factors that can enhance or decrease the responsiveness of these products, such as the timing, the dosage, the environmental conditions, the vigor of the tree, the stress level of the tree, the age of the tree, etc., etc. And giving some tips of how to apply this product in order to have the most effective results. We also described some of the ongoing research in the Farcuh lab related to these topics, and I just closed my session by highlighting some of the extension materials that we have available for growers and packers originating from the Farcuh lab, which are mainly focused on helping you identify or measure your maturity indices in order to identify which is the best window for harvesting your apples. This includes fruit maturity assessment newsletter that we circulate yearly from July through October, Fruit Pulse. We also talked about different fact sheets that are out there in English and Spanish discussing these topics. We also mentioned this YouTube channel where you can find very useful information as videos where we describe how we measure maturity as maturity indices. And finally, I just want to draw your attention to a blog in Spanish that we have developed in order to make all this information accessible for Spanish speakers. All the links for these tools are present below in the description of this video. I hope you enjoyed this talk, and thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in the Apple workshop in 2024.